not a target I have.
Letting go of insecurity.
No, I think it's just a human condition. I think it's part of the game. I think it's part of being a human being any more than I want to get rid of my arms.
Your life is on the other side of your fears. You have to decide, when do you stop living in the fear and finally step into the life that you want for yourself?
Now I realize that I can no longer hide from my insecurities, hide from all these fears. I just start wearing them.
Rise and shine!
It's Insecurities time.
Hey, it's Carmichael, and I am not a morning person. I'm not. But if you start your day with a thing that inspires you, like watching this video, it will change your life. So let's start your day off right together. Grab your coffee, know that I believe in you, and get ready for a shot of Entspresso from Grant Cardone.
I wake up every morning. Espresso keep me going. I wake up every morning.
What do you think it'll take for you to get over insecurity moving forward?
I'm not trying to, man.
You're not trying to?
I'm not trying to.
I thought you said if you could get rid of it, you'd be able to do bigger
It'd
deals.
be unbelievable, but it's not a target I have.
Letting go of insecurity.
No, I think it's just a human condition. I think it's part of the game. I think it's part of being a human being any more than I want to get rid of my arms, or my legs, or my arms and my legs. My body is a limitation.
Yeah.
So.
How do you manage it better then? Like for people that are saying, I want a 10X, but I always have insecurity and fear that I'm going to fail or people are going to show up and the deal's I'm going to go broke. How do you personally tell the conversation to yourself, to the insecurity and fear?
Yeah, it's not stop, it's come. For me, fear, the things I'm scared of, I'm like, come on. It's calling me. It says, hey, come play over here. It's an indicator. It's a good indicator, not a bad indicator.
Lean into it.
Lean into it. Come play with me, okay? So I either have fear because it's really dangerous and stupid. Or
like physically dangerous.
Yeah, like I'm gonna get to the edge of this thing. I'm gonna get on the other side of that thing. I'm probably gonna be scared.
Yeah.
Now, why am I gonna be scared though? Like, because I don't know what it feels like to fall, this many floors and hit.
Yeah.
Maybe it does. Maybe there's no big deal about it. Maybe dying's not even a big deal.
Right.
But I don't have the experience. I don't consciously have the experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, I used to be like, I can't buy a $78,000 house. I was terrified the first house I bought. I don't know what I'm doing.
Because you didn't have the experience.
I don't have the experience, man.
Yeah.
This is the problem. And you're not going to have the experience if you don't move through the fear. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people do it once and then they don't do it again. You got to it's not going away.
Yeah.
It's just you're going to get used to the ski boots. Mm-hmm. The first time you put them on, man, they're freaking banging your shins.
Hurt.
Like, I can't, man. But you just wear into them.
Yeah.
If you're afraid, that means you're on the right track. If you are afraid to do the thing that's on your list, your dream list, where you want to go, what you want to accomplish, if you're afraid of that thing, if looking at it makes your heart go boom, 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 it means you're on the right track. You do not want to live a life with no fear. People ask me all the time, how do I be fearless? How do I conquer my goals without fear? You don't. If you are fearless, if you have no fear in your life, it means that you hate your life. It means that you are just photocopying the same day on repeat over and over and over again. You're only fearless if you know exactly how it's going to play out, right? If you knew exactly what was going to happen, you will not be afraid. If you had to go brush your teeth, you could do it. You won't be afraid to do it because you've done it a million times before. But it's also boring. Imagine if you had your whole life not being afraid. How bored you would be. And we as humans, we have this desire for stability. You don't want to be just constantly in the unknown and constant in the fear and stressed out all the time. We want to have stability, but not too much stability because we also want the variety. We also want the spice of life. We also want to push. We also know we're capable of more. You're capable of more. You've got giant potential in you. You got Michael Jordan level genius at something new. It's not going to be realized by not doing anything that you're afraid of. You have to jump into those things. Now, think about what you're afraid of. Most of the things that we're afraid of are not actually physically harming to us. Think about what are you most afraid of? What do you really want to do that you're afraid of? Most of the time, it's not something that's actually going to cause you physical harm. right? I would be afraid to go rob this store or steal this car, right? I mean, I'm afraid to do that, but I don't want to do that. It's not in my ambition to do that, especially since it does a disservice to other people. Most of the things you want to do are not actually going to be physically harmful to you. Most of the things that you are afraid to do, you're afraid of failing, not even of the failure, you're afraid of failing in front of people. You're afraid of who sees you when you're failing. You're afraid of, if I fall down on the hill, who's going to watch me? I remember when I first learning to snowboard, if I was the only one on the hill and I fell down, no big deal. When I fell down, I'd be looking, oh, who saw me fall down again and again and again and again and again. Be worried, I'd be self-conscious about who would see me fall, right? You're not afraid of failing. You're afraid of who sees you when you fall. And that's a big deal, because as long as you live your life in fear of what other people think of you, you're never going to accomplish the thing that you want to accomplish. If you are governed in your life by other people's expectations of you, you stay small forever. You're trying to please everybody around you and live their version of your life, never getting to actually live your own version. And so you have to lean into that fear. The goal isn't to offend the people around you. The goal isn't to say, hey, look, I told you so, or I hate you, or anything like that. It has nothing to do with them. The goal is about living your life. And so it's leaning into the things that you're afraid of. Right now I'm working on a big project that is secret for the moment, but stay tuned, it's coming. And I'm afraid of it. I'm afraid of it. I'm afraid it's not going to work out. I'm afraid we're going to disappoint people. I'm afraid we're going to promise people things and then not be able to deliver. And so I'm working really hard not to have that become a reality, but I'm really, it's a big stretch from where I'm at right now. And I'm afraid that it's not going to work and I'm going to disappoint people. And because that is the fear, I have to do it. It's not a good enough reason. It means that you're on the right track. The thing that I'm afraid of means I have to go off and do it to show myself that Evan Carmichael does the things that he's afraid of. That's the identity you want to build, is that you attack the things that you're afraid of. The path through the fear is through, not stopping. If you stop, you'll always be afraid of that thing. If you're bumping up against the fear and then you say, oh, I can't do it, I'm afraid, that fear will always own you. Where every time you go through the fear, you get a little bit stronger. You're capable of doing more things. You're capable of taking on bigger projects and bigger fears and inspiring the people behind you, right? Every time you take that step of growth, if you go to step 500 on the staircase of growth, you can help people get to step 499. But if you're stuck at step 2, you can only help people get to step 1. So if you want to serve, you want to give, you want to contribute, you want to reach your potential, you want to be the Michael Jordan genius that you've got and share that with the world, you have to step into your fears, and that becomes an inspiration for other people as well. So how do you do it? What are some practical steps for you to actually execute this? Step number 1 is recognize the fear. Most of the time when you're afraid of something, we don't actually call it fear, we call it something smarter. We call it a reason, right? Which is really just an excuse, which is really just fear, but we call it a reason. I can't do that now because I don't have enough time. Oh, I didn't go to school for that. Oh, I don't have the resources. Oh, I don't have the experience. I'm gonna start that next week, or this is a great January 1st goal. And you convince yourself of all the reasons why you can't do it. Or I'm a perfectionist and I can't start a YouTube channel until I have the right gear and the right camera and the right, guys, I'm using an iPhone and a headset. I'm making videos. You can make videos. You already have all the gear that you need. We come up with all these stories, these reasons, and you believe the reason because they're smart reasons. They're smart. You wouldn't believe a stupid reason. It's a smart reason. That's what you're believing. But really it's just fear. So step number 1 is to actually catch the fear. To stop believing your excuses. Catch the fear, right? And that's really, really, really hard. You probably won't even catch it most of the time, but catching it in the moment as much as possible is step number 1. Step number 2 is then doing the thing. So when you catch the fear, you have to then immediately go do the thing. What is that thing? Maybe that thing is making a phone call. Maybe that thing is making a video. Maybe that thing is writing that message. Maybe that thing is booking the appointment, booking the flight. Like, what is that thing for you? to train yourself that you're not going to delay. You caught the fear, you're going to do that thing immediately. One of my favorite things to do when I'm working with people is as soon as they come up with some goal, some idea, it's like, okay, great, what are we going to do right now? I was on an IG Live yesterday on my channel, on Instagram, where the guy was from South Africa and he wanted to start doing coaching sessions on Instagram. So, okay, great, let's start. You know, what time is it there now? 9 o'clock, perfect, okay, so let's book your first coaching sessions. And I pulled people from the chat, like who would love to have a coaching session with him? And we pulled the first 2 people to say, okay, you're on tomorrow and you're on the next day. Tomorrow morning, you're with him. The next day, you're with him. And I want an update. It was I want an update on Movement Makers, right? So he's part of my Movement Makers program and we're gonna meet on the Thursday. So I want an update by Thursday. I wanna know how the first 2 went. And we booked it for him live. I love doing that kind of, always, like immediate action. Go, because you're afraid, like, oh my God, my heart's beating, boom, 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 right? Immediate action. So 1 is catching the fear. 2 is taking immediate action towards it, like right away. We gotta do something. We gotta have the courage to step into that fear. And then 3 is the boom, boom, boom test. And that's when your heart is beating, boom, 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 boom. That helps feed into step number 1 of catching the fear. If you're in your head talking yourself down from that big idea that you've got, that you can't do it and you're not smart enough and you're not good enough and all that stuff, but you at the same time feel your heart going like this, boom, boom, boom. Hey, dogs. Hey, Tristana. Where's Timo? Timo? Oh, okay, he's looking. He's looking for Nina. She went shopping. He's not paying attention to me. Oh, there he is. He's been here the whole time. We love it. You feel your heart going boom, 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 boom. It means you're afraid. And even though your head's telling you that you can't do it and finding logical reasons, really you're just afraid. So use the boom, boom, boom test. I call it the boom, boom, boom test, when you can feel it. Think about that idea that you've got. Does it make your heart go boom, boom, boom? Yes, perfect, go. That feeds into number 1, you're just afraid, and that feeds into number 2, which is take immediate action. Your life is on the other side of your fears. You have to decide, when do you stop living in the fear and finally step into the life that you want for yourself, to have the impact that you know you can have, to create the life that you want for yourself, for your family, that they deserve. Everything you want, everything is in the other side of your fears. And it's time today to attack them. Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy, but before that, it's time for the question of the day. I wanna know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? When you just watch a video and you get motivated, the science says you have a 35% chance of following through. That's it, 35% chance. You're motivated, 35% chance of following through. But when you create a plan of action for what you're actually going to do, that jumps to 91% chance of following through. And when you commit to somebody else and make it public, that goes to 95%. Believe Nation, I want you to follow through. So tell me your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week. Put it down in the comments below so I can celebrate you.
Hey man.
Evan, how you doing, buddy?
Good, how are you?
You got a book coming out, don't you?
You just came out.
Where can people get it?
Get it on Amazon, easiest spot, built to serve, right there.
Let's go, man. If you guys don't know Evan, follow Evan Carmichael. He's got a new book out, Build to Serve. Go grab it today at Amazon. Just a good dude right here.
So every day of my life, I'm haunted by my father, the kids that bullied me, my own insecurities. All these things are just roosting in the back of my head. So I'll be driving home at like 7 o'clock in the morning from an all-night shift, and all alone in my truck, and I'll be thinking, what the man, my life is hell. So one day I came home, and I always come home and watch TV, and this show was on with like Navy SEALs.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid of the water. I sink like a rock. So I'm sitting there watching these guys going through Navy SEAL training, and I'm like, and I saw what I believed how a man should feel, very, have pride and dignity in himself.
Yeah.
It's like, I gotta change myself. So literally I sat down on the couch and watching these guys going through SEAL training, and I went through my own mental checklist of how up I am and how many things I would have to change just to get an opportunity to try out for something like that. Have to get smarter, have to get fit, have to lose weight, have to do all these things, start running, swimming, everything. So I finally get to a point where I get the courage to go to a recruiter and say, hey, I want to go try to do this. But when you're 297 pounds and you want to go try to be one of the fittest people in the world, you get laughed at. So I got laughed at a lot. But in this process was actually hardening my mind. All the laughter, because the laughter used to make me cower. Mm-hmm. Now I realize that I can no longer hide from my insecurities, hide from all these fears. I had to start wearing them. I had to start talking about them. I had to start being vulnerable because I was always afraid of them. So here I am now. I'm facing them. I finally find a recruiter that says, hey, we'll take you in. And he says, you have less than 3 months to lose 106 pounds. I'm like, that's possible. So that was my mindset. But I was like, hey, I can't have that kind of mindset. So I went to the dungeon and started using all my insecurities as strength. Instead of looking at being bullied and my dad messing me up and all this stuff like that, I looked at it as, who could have survived all this and still be here with the opportunity to go into Navy SEAL training? And so I started using all these negative things and started flipping everything on top of his head. Instead of saying, woe is me, kicking rocks, head down in the dirt, I started saying, there's not a on the planet who would have this opportunity coming from where I came from. They would be a statistic. So I started looking at it as power versus like big time defeat. And slowly but surely, every day, I started changing the voice in my head, because the most important conversation you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. So I slowly started changing that internal dialogue in my head. And there wasn't no like teacher, there was no shrink, there was no mom saying, hey, David, you can do it. No, it was me. And that was where the power came from. The power came from, no one's helping me. No one's coming back to save me. No one's coming back to pull me to the finish line. This is on you. So I saw a lot of power in the fact that if I change this around, I did this. I changed this around.
If you want another awesome Grant Cardone video, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Don't end up doing things that are destructive when I'm busy doing things that are constructive. The truth is, I was never a drug addict. I just had too much free time and made bad choices.